So yeah, sometimes when you're picking a prop account, there are too many options. And of course, the prop firms want me to sit here and read out all of their little marketing points to you. But when I'm looking for a prop account, I'm looking at which account is going to be able to give me the most value for my money, which to me comes down to the most payout potential. So that's how I'm always looking at all of my different accounts. So instead of giving you the marketing spiel, let's go through and I'm going to show you how to pick a prop account based on the payout structure. And I'm going to pick on My Funded Futures today because we're going to be looking at 50K accounts and they have 4 of them. So it can be really confusing. We'll go ahead and go through all of them and figure out which one is potentially the highest value to most traders. And then that'll help you decide which one is the most value to you. And of course, if this video is valuable to you or you just, want a good discount, use code 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 next time you get an account at My Funded Futures or any of the places listed on my link tree at 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏link. And you'll get a great deal while supporting my work here on this channel, and it'll cost you nothing extra. Let's get into it. Real quick, before we cover all of the different account types, I wanted to make sure we're on the same page about what the prop firms are and aren't, along with what kind of trader and trading plan works best in these prop accounts. So, a 50K account is not $50,000 of funding. It's really limited by your drawdown amount, which is the risk they allow you, which on most of these accounts is going to be about $2,000. And once you earn profits, that doesn't always translate to payouts. So when you're in an evaluation account, none of those profits count towards payouts. Once you pass that evaluation and get into the sim funded stage, then your profits can potentially go to payouts, but it's not always one-to-one. So you need to be aware of that. And in this case, I'm looking at how to survive the account. So we're not going to be trying to figure out how to maximize every last dollar. We're trying to look at how a normal trader can survive having these accounts, at least semi-long term, because that's going to really help. So when you're looking at the traders that do well in these prop accounts, I know we look at social media and we see these guys turning $2,000 of risk into $8,000. That's a one-up. What we really want to look at is what you can do consistently over time. And in general, you don't have to have that extremely high risk to reward ratio and win rate. If you're above 50% or at least close to 50% and have a risk to reward ratio greater than 1-to-1, and you're taking just 1 to 3 trades a day on average, that could be 0 when it's not a great day for trading, or if your setup is really setting up nicely that day, it could be 5 or 6. But in general, we're not over trading. You've got to limit your daily losses. You've got to limit your loss run. You don't want to be on a losing streak. And if you are limiting those losses, it should be less than a quarter of your days. And I'm basing this based on what most people tell me, which is where the stop size is 3 to 4 ES points or 10 to 15 NASDAQ points. For me, that doesn't work as well. I like to have a little bit more room. And I think right now, especially with the volatility so high, 3 to 4 points might have worked when the ES was at 3,500. Now we're over 7,000. So we need a little bit more room just based on what percentage of that move that ends up being. So I kind of calculated this out for you. So 3 to 4 points, we'd be looking at 1 to 2 ES contracts to give us $150 to $200 of risk. So if you're trying to size that down, it doesn't work super cleanly with the ES. 1 ES contract would put us a little bit heavier there, but that's when you can go down to the micros, maybe 7, 8 micros. Or if you want to have 3 times that stop, I'm usually kind of in this range. I want to have a little bit more room on my stop, but I'm going for a higher amount of points with a larger move in general anyway than a lot of scalpers do. So I'm just going to, size down so that this risk still fits in my account. I do a little 5 MES contract play a lot. It gives me a little bit wider stop and a little bit more profit potential, but the math is all the same. You've just got to size right for that risk. And so I kind of split this up into a couple different ways. So when you're on an evaluation, Usually I encourage people to trade it a little bit more aggressively because you've got 30 days to hit that target. So for a $50,000 account, it's usually about $3,000. And I know you don't want to spend the whole 30 days. That sucks. And so usually for those evals, we're trading it a little bit more aggressively. But then a lot of the times, especially when it's your first live account, your first sim live account, you're going to end up being a little bit more conservative to make sure that you keep that account and don't lose it. And so I'm kind of doing these two different scenarios because a lot of the time after you've earned that first live account and have kept it going for a little while, then when you add additional accounts, your second, third account, you might trade those a little bit more aggressively too. So we'll kind of go through both scenarios. Here's kind of an overview of both. So the conservative trader is going to be going for an average win of about $300 a day. This is pretty much what I do in most of my accounts. If I'm going to be more aggressive, then I'm looking at more like $500 a day. See, this isn't the $5,000 that people are bragging about on socials. What other people are doing on socials doesn't mean anything for you trying to keep your account alive. So we're going to focus on that. And that position size for the conservative trader is 5 MESs to 1 ES. So basically a half ES to 1 ES. And then we can go a little bit bigger with the aggressive traders taking more trades per day. This is the average. So when you average the $300 profit and the $200 loss, that's where we're kind of coming up with that. But with these different trading profiles, the conservative trader, we're saying they get about $1,500 a month, and the aggressive trader is going to get about $4,000 a month. This depends a lot because, of course, even if you're a conservative trader and you're in a really great trade, you're not going to stop the trade just because you get that $300. You're going to let it run a little bit, right? So this is all just general. I'm just trying to give you a baseline for how that we're looking at what kind of trader is going to be able to maintain these accounts. So here are the 4 different accounts that My Funded Futures currently offers for the 50K. These are all offered at the 50K level. Some of them will have a 25K, some of them will have 100K, but I want to compare apples to apples as best I can. So these are currently all of the 50K accounts that you can get from My Funded Futures. Something I want you to notice is, we started out with the starter plan and it was later changed into the core plan. And I have a little bit of a bone to pick because every time I make these videos, I'll feature these accounts and then they come out with a new name and a new setup and it's a little bit different. So even if they date this video tomorrow, what I want y'all to pay attention to is how you can pull these different stats out to compare them across the board to see what you're really getting. Because that starter account turned into the core account, but then it had different rules. Eventually the core account has kind of turned into this builder account. And they changed the rules and moved the lines around a little bit. But what we really care about is this payout information. You can look at the max contracts and things, but when you're trading like a conservative trader, that's not going to come into play as much. What we're really going to be looking at is how often we can get payouts. And when you have 4 different 50K accounts to choose from, this is where I say that with a firm like this, you end up kind of getting a choose your own adventure. This account's the cheapest. These all have different price ranges on them. This one's the cheapest bare bones account. If you're not great at passing an account, this might be good for you because it costs less. But here we're kind of focusing on the trader that can pass an eval, even if it's still a challenge. And that's probably going to put us more in this range over here because these are the ones that get better payouts. So if we're talking about that conservative trader and we're getting, our winning days are $300, $400 maybe, and the losing trades are going to be $200 to $300, netting us about $90 a day, monthly gross of $1,500. So I'm not talking about $90 a day because you do have to hit the profitable trading day minimums. So on our average winning days, we should be hitting that. So on the rapid, if you're making about $1,500 a month with a conservative plan like this, where you're treating your new sim funded account real seriously and trying to get those payouts, this is what you can end up taking from the first 30 days. And the rapid account's going to give you the best because it has that 90% split and you can get the daily payouts. So in that 30 days, we're going to end up with several payouts out of that can net us up to $1,350. The builder account and the pro account, even though you made the same monthly gross, you're going to get a little bit different split on this because it's 80% instead of 90%. And you do get a little bit delayed on the pro because you can't take a payout except for every 2 weeks. You can take more payouts with these other accounts. So it's a little bit safer when you're brand new and just want to get that payout, get net positive with your prop experience, while you might want to focus away from the pro account. And the flex is one of these situations where you really do get what you pay for because you can only take out half of your profit. So it's really going to limit what you can get in that first 30 days. It's a cheaper account though. So that's how that works. Meanwhile, the aggressive trader that's trading a lot more like they did in their eval, getting closer to about $4,000 a month, you're still going to have to do your profit share. So you got that 90% split. These other guys have that 80% split. You can see how far back the flex account is for a more aggressive trader on these payouts. So the rapid account is still going to get you the most with about $3,600, and then the builder is going to be $3,200 along with the pro. But again, this is getting you 2 requests per week, and this one is every 14 days. So this is why some of these new accounts I'm liking better than the old pro one. So over the 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day, because the way I look at this is, can we keep the account alive for 1 month or 2 months or 3 months? We're trying to keep this account alive. And they do have a 5-day trade minimum where you have to place a trade every 5 days. There's other reasons that this account could get taken away. Most of the time it's with our own degen brain. But this is what it'll look like over 30 days for the conservative trader. You can end up with a pretty nice little over $4,000 payout at that really conservative pace. Of course, the aggressive trader's doing a lot better down here, as expected. But the highest that either trader can get out of either of these, any of these accounts, is with that rapid account, just because it has the best payout structure. So if you're looking at the full value, I told you we're looking at what a trader can reasonably accomplish. But if you're a super baddie and you can maximize every little thing, this is the different potential values out of each of these accounts. And you can see if you maximize every payout and everything you're doing, our realistic numbers are down here, but then your maximum, you actually have a potential to get over $24,000 out of a rapid, where the flex is really going to limit you because of those payout limits. So I've talked about how it's a choose your own adventure. The flex is really for those entry-level traders who are really just trying it out, in my opinion, where a lot of these other accounts are designed for other kinds of traders. The pro they came out with for those who are used to bi-weekly paychecks, I liked this one for a little while, but then I kind of saw how there's a little bit more value in some of these. And they could go and change all of these numbers on me, but I want you to pay attention to, there's always one account in, one account out. So like we lost the core and it became something else, and now it's the builder. Just kind of track what those different changes are when they come out with these things and see if anything can ever beat that rapid account. Again, if this video was helpful to you at all, you know the code 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I've got a link tree at 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏link. That can also get you to my website, where we have a ton of resources, from news updates and data drops to a live chat community and lots of streaming. So come check me out there, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. And then if you're at My Fun and Futures or some of the other top props, try code 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. It's good luck and gives you a deal. So thanks for joining me. See you next time.